afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles. And I'm Bob. It's good to see you, Bob. I know. Lovely, lovely as always to have you all join us today. It's just such a pleasure. Thank you so much. This week, I'd like to talk a little bit about love at first sight. Love at first sight, an idea that has been romanticised in countless stories, movies and poems. Oh, but have you ever? I have a couple of times. One, I got the boy, and one, I never told him, but it was love at first sight. It's me, isn't it? The one that got away. Yeah, it's you, Bob. It's that wonderful, magical stuff, isn't it? Your eyes meet and boom, you're floored by them completely and they become immortalised, forever beautiful and sigh-worthy. Yeah, but sometimes they speak. And instantly lose their mystique. Hey, that rhymed. Yeah, I feel you, Bob. But sometimes really they do speak and hubba bubba, they are off the Richter scale. Amazing. It's the notion that the moment two people lock eyes, an intense, undeniable connection is made, sparking a love that feels instantaneous and magical. But is it real? Oh, Rod, who cares? It's the stuff that dreams are made of. You know, that it is, Bob. It is real for countless people without a doubt. I've experienced it. I've seen it with others. But I can feel the but. Well, it's more of a... Or the shock of it? Yeah, because more often than not, it is an unexpected feeling. So it can be more of a phenomenon, a concept rooted in the longing for something extraordinary. I suppose there's a science behind it. Well, from a psychological and physiological standpoint, love at first sight might actually be a mixture of attraction, chemistry, and a deep emotional yearning, all converging in a single moment. Yeah, sounds messy. Well, our brains are wired to recognise patterns, and in an instant, we may feel a strong pull towards someone based on their appearance, their body language, or even the sound of their voice. This isn't necessarily love in the traditional sense, but rather an intense attraction or infatuation that can feel really overwhelming. And I love it! But it's not really procrastination if I have no intention of doing it, eh? Intention matters. Hey. A hacker called me and said he had my passwords. I got a pen and paper and said, thank God for that. What are they? The idea that it's love may stem from the rush of dopamine, oxytocin and the other feel-good hormones released during the encounter. Over the counter, eh? No, Bob, during the encounter of feeling like you're falling in love. Yeah, I knew that, yeah. These chemicals can create a euphoric sense of connection that mimics the emotional experience of love, even if the deeper attachment hasn't yet formed. Oh, it's a delish feeling that I quite like it. Yes, that it is. Love at first sight may also be more psychological than it seems. Oh, no, here it comes. Here comes what, Bob? The bad news. There's no bad news. When we are primed by romantic ideals or have a deep sense or deep desire for connection, we might interpret any strong immediate bond as something more profound than it actually is. Oh yeah, that can happen. I bet the reason it's called almond milk is because no one ever said, hey, nut juice, and kept a straight face. Hey, can you imagine it? Yeah, nut juice decaf lattes, please. Hashtag love at first sight. The person we're drawn to might simply fit a particular ideal we've constructed in our minds. Sometimes we idealise that person as the one because the connection feels so intense, even if it's largely built on fantasy. I do like me some fantasy, I do. Is it really love? Dunno, is it? True love, as most people understand it, usually takes time to develop. Involves trust, shared experiences, and an evolving bond between two people. Myself, personally, I love board games. My favourite one is where people put meat and cheese on a board, maybe some fruit and crackers. Oh, I'm so good at that one, yeah. It's the only board game I don't cheat at. So while love at first sight may feel real, it might be more accurate to describe it as infatuation or initial attraction rather than true lasting love. Yeah, no, I can't believe it. There has to be the exception. I know people who met and fell in love and are still together. Yeah, me too. So many people who claim to have experienced love at first sight might be describing a feeling of deep connection or passion that later evolves into genuine love.
Oh, yeah. See?
However, there are also cases where the intense feelings dissipate as quickly as they arrived, leaving people wondering if there was really love at all.
See, you can call them red flags. I like to call them 10 fun facts that you didn't know about me.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, all fun facts.
But here's the thing, that rush, that heart-thundering, breath-catching intensity, it might be excitement or it might be a red flag. Yeah, it could well be, Bob.
I'm starting to think I'll never be old enough to know better.
None of us get off scot-free, Bob.
Yeah.
So falling in love at first sight, that sudden electric jolt of recognition, as if the universe has tilted and pointed you directly at someone, can feel like magic.
Yeah, magic.
It's dizzying, all-consuming and thrilling in a way that defies logic.
Down with logic, yeah.
You see them, they see you, and something clicks. Not just attraction, but a deep sense of, this is it.
It's the excitement, though.
It is. There's a reason stories romanticise love at first sight. When it happens or feels like it does, it's intoxicating.
Oh, yeah.
It speaks to something primal, something that bypasses rational thought.
See, I like that.
Well, I think we all do in spots. Your brain floods with dopamine and oxytocin, creating an emotional high that feels like destiny.
There's a fine line between eccentric and batshit crazy and ride that shit like a circus bear on a unicycle. It's all about balance, really.
The best, 1000%. It's spontaneous, alive, and often beautiful. That instant connection can spark relationships that do last, though not always for the reasons they began.
Hey, anyone want to meet up and just scream? We could get food after.
Sounds perfect. I'm in. There's a danger in this, though.
There is?
Yeah, but here's the uncomfortable truth. Instant emotional intensity isn't always love. Sometimes it's projection. You don't fall in love with the person. You fall in love with the idea of them, the idea of you both together. You fill in the blanks with what you want them to be. You feel seen, maybe even known, but you haven't even scratched the surface of who they are.
Someone offers you a piece of their mind, just politely decline and insist you can't take their last piece.
Funny, but true for some people.
Yeah, I thought so.
But if both people feel this way, you may end up building a relationship on shared fantasy, not reality. So yes, it can be a red flag, not because love at first sight is fake, but because it's so easily confused with infatuation, trauma bonding, or unmet emotional needs.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah.
Sometimes you feel an immediate bond because someone mirrors a familiar pattern, even if that pattern is unhealthy. For example, a person might feel drawn to someone who triggers unresolved issues or replicates dynamics from the past.
All I wanted to was that nice buzzaroo of a budding romance. How it's getting you're starting to get a little bit complicated now.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Bob. We were just talking about all aspects, other facets.
All right. So what do you do?
Well, if you've fallen hard, fast and inexplicably, slow down. Let yourself feel the rush, but try and stay grounded.
That's, like impossible.
Well, I guess it would feel like that.
When I have to fill out a form asking who to call in case of an emergency, I always write an ambulance because no one in my family is going to answer a call from an unknown number.
Yeah, true words. #love at first sight. Maybe it's time to ask real questions, as in get to know them beyond the spark. Do they respect your boundaries? Do they show up consistently? Do your values align?
Yeah, you're right, okay.
If it's real, it won't disappear under scrutiny. It'll deepen.
So, Einstein, how many are truly in love at first sight?
Oh, back off there, Bobo. It's hard to say. I don't know. How many people are truly in love at first sight? How many people are actually truly in love? Regardless, because love is such a complex, subjective emotion.
See, I don't do complex. It constipates me.
Righto. If we define love as something that develops over time, requiring mutual respect, understanding and emotional growth, it's likely that very few people actually experience true love. And true love at first sight.
That man that invented the Ferris wheel never met the man that invented the merry-go-round. Yeah, they travelled in different circles. Both members of the Rotary Club.
But moments of intense, immediate attraction or deep emotional connection are much more common. For some, that moment is just the beginning of a love story that unfolds over years. For others, it remains a fleeting, magical experience, something they'll always remember but never fully understand.
Did you know that on the Canary Islands, there's not one canary? Yeah, fair income. And on the Virgin Islands, same thing. Not one canary there either.
Good to know, Bob.
Yeah, I thought you might want to know that. Well, that's very interesting.
Love at first sight can be real, but it may not be love in the full sense of the word. More often than not, it's a rush of attraction, excitement and chemistry, which can lay the foundation for a deeper connection over time. Whether it's a genuine lasting love or just an infatuating spark is up to the individuals involved and the journey they take together.
So who then can we talk about that did the love at first sight thing?
Well, look, here's a true story of love at first sight, one that captured the hearts of many around the world, and that was the love story of Paul McCartney and Linda Eastman. Paul and Linda, love at first sight that lasted a lifetime. In 1967, Paul McCartney was at the height of Beatlemania, one of the most famous and desired men in the world. Linda Eastman was an accomplished American photographer known for her work capturing the world of rock music. She had come to London on an assignment, and fate brought her to a press event at a club where the Beatles were promoting their new album.
Oh yes, I love this.
Linda walked into the room, not as a screaming fan, but as a calm, confident woman with a camera slung over her shoulder, and Paul later recalled that the moment he saw her, something shifted. They exchanged just a few words, but there was a spark that neither of them could ignore.
If you're funny, you are automatically 75% more attractive. Beauty fades, but sarcasm, that shit's forever. Yeah, I hope it's true. I need all the help I can get.
Shortly afterward, they met again in New York, where that initial connection deepened. Paul was smitten, not just by her looks, but by her genuine kindness, artistic spirit, and grounded nature. Linda, in return, found in Paul someone who was both famous and deeply human. Hashtag love at first sight.
So what happened?
Well, they married in 1969.
Yeah, so that was 2 years after they met.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. At a modest courthouse ceremony, Linda wore no fancy dress. Their baby daughter, Mary, was in her arms. Fans were stunned. Why would a Beatle marry someone who wasn't a glamorous celebrity or a supermodel?
They were mad for each other, that's why.
That's right, Bob. But their love proved deeper than appearances. Through the Beatles breakup, the formation of their band Wings, raising a family, and life on their remote Scottish farm, Paul and Linda were nearly inseparable for 29 years. He often called her his anchor and muse.
I will never understand people's fascination with their ancestry. Isn't knowing your current family bad enough?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. When Linda was diagnosed with cancer in the 1990s, Paul stayed by her side until she passed away in 1998. He later said he never spent a single night away from her during their entire marriage, except for one night due to unavoidable travel.
Yeah, I remember that. It was both very beautiful and it was very, very sad.
It was. So this story stands out because unlike many celebrity romances, Paul and Linda began with instant recognition, a rare electric moment, and it just blossomed into a love marked by loyalty, creativity, and a lovely, deep friendship.
Oh, now that's a bit groovy, isn't it? I like that.
It wasn't flashy, but it was real, and it all began the instant he saw her walk into that room. Would you like me to tell you another true story of love at first sight?
Yes, I'd like to live vicariously through you and your stories.
Okay, Bob. Well, here's a short narrative about a lesser known but deeply compelling love at first sight story.
Oh, yeah, love stories, yeah.
The story of Sofia Kovalevskaya and Vladimir Kovalevsky, a love that defied the expected.
The expected, you say?
Yeah, in the mid-19th century, in the heart of Imperial Russia lived Sofia, a young woman with a mind alight with mathematics and an unshakable determination to learn in a world that often refused to teach women.
Yeah, how unusual.
Her path to academic greatness was blocked at every turn. Universities did not admit women, and travel abroad required the permission of a guardian or husband.
Godfathers.
So enter Vladimir Kovalevsky, a paleontology student and early Darwinist who encountered Sofia through mutual intellectual circles. Accounts say that their first meeting sparked something immediate, less a typical romantic infatuation and more an electric recognition.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, so two idealistic minds, equally unconventional, drawn together by shared intellect and a desire to reshape their futures. They're married in what was known as a fictitious romanticised marriage, which is a legal arrangement that allowed Sophia to leave Russia and study abroad with no romantic expectations. But what began as a practical union quickly turned into something quite profound.
Nothing says I don't know how to party like sitting at home on a Friday night, wrapped in a blanket, reading a book and sipping hot tea. Oh, yeah, baby.
Best kind of party, Bob.
Yeah, I reckon.
In letters and journals, they are subtle but striking clues of how admiration bloomed into affection, how respect grew into love.
You know, there's a method to my madness. I'm just kidding, it's just madness, straight up chaotic madness, but I'm fun.
Oh, you are that, Bob.
Yeah.
So on with our story. Now, despite their intellectual ambitions often pulling them in different directions, the two maintained a strong emotional bond. Vladimir supported Sophia's groundbreaking work, and she would become the first major female mathematician in Europe, publishing important papers and earning a professorship in Sweden. Their love wasn't without tragedy. Unfortunately, Vladimir struggled with mental health issues and eventually died by suicide.
Oh, no. I wasn't emotionally prepared for that.
Sophia was devastated, but never let go of the love and support that had once made the impossible seem achievable. In many ways, their meeting was not just love at first sight, it was liberation at first sight.
Oh, wow, what a couple. You know, every once in a while I go outside and run the vacuum cleaner over the driveway just to ensure that the neighbours never talk to me. Yeah.
The danger and the thrill of falling for someone on sight comes from the same place, emotional risk. But love that's worth keeping doesn't just burn hot and fast. It grows steady and clear. Let the spark light the fire, but don't let it blind you. But isn't that some of us dream of? Isn't it something that we wish for, that immediate spark?
Yeah, why is that, oh wise one?
Well, some of us dream of falling in love with someone because it speaks to a deep, often subconscious longing for connection, magic and emotional certainty.
I made a huge to-do list today. I just can't figure out who's going to do it.
I'm sure you'll work it out.
Oh, yeah, I will.
At its core, the idea of instant love, of locking eyes with someone and just knowing, fulfills a fantasy that life can surprise us with something beautiful and fated. It bypasses the uncertainty, awkwardness and vulnerability that usually come with forming a relationship. Instead, it promises a shortcut. One moment, one feeling, and everything changes.
Have you ever had those days when you're holding a stick and everybody looked like a panada?
Oh, yeah, today, yesterday, and one last week.
Yeah, all right.
This yearning can also be rooted in emotional needs. People who feel unseen, misunderstood, or isolated might crave a connection that doesn't require explanation, someone who just gets them without effort.
Oh, yeah, but did I tell you that my grandma once said sometimes you have to hug the people you don't like so you know how big to dig the hole in your backyard?
Oh, what wonderful wise advice, Bob.
Yeah.
Instant love is appealing because it suggests deep intimacy without fear of rejection or confusion.
Yeah, true, it does.
Culturally, we're also raised on stories, books, films, songs that glorify love at first sight.
Also true, yes.
These narratives imprint the idea that true love is supposed to be immediate, overwhelming, and certain. It becomes easy to mistake that ideal for something we should pursue or expect in real life.
Sometimes you just got to let karma fix it, because if you fix it, you're going to jail, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
But this desire isn't foolish or naive, it's human. Wanting to fall in love instantly is often a wish for something real in a world that can feel uncertain, transactional or emotionally distant. It's the hope that even in the chaos, something effortlessly right can still find us.
I don't even know what to do with a girlfriend. Like, how often do you feed it? Do you have to walk it?
Make sure you keep it in the basement, Bob.
Kind of like a Tamagotchi. I know, I can't even.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Love at First Sight.
Yeah, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go.
Well, you know, we will be back.
Yeah, I know, next week.
And we will be back next week. So whether you believe in love at first glance or think it's just your brain mixing up butterflies with indigestion, we're not here to judge, just to swoon.
Yeah, I do like me a bit of the old swoon town bizzo, yes I do.
If you've ever locked eyes with a stranger and suddenly started picturing your future dog, your wedding playlist, and what you'd name your first sourdough starter together, congratulations. You might just be love-struck.
Hey, I made 6 figures last year. Turns out the toy factory job was not for me.
I love your dad jokes, Bob.
Yeah, me too.
Remember, love doesn't always send a calendar invite. Sometimes it just shows up, looks you in the eyes and says, tag, you're in. But until next time, keep your heart open, your eyes peeled, and if you hear romantic music playing as someone walks by, well, maybe don't ignore it. This is Linda, signing off with a wink.
And moi.
So say good day to the family for me, give the cow a gin, and we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then, catch you next week, lovers. Don't trip unless it's over someone cute. Bye.
Bye.